Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, March 31st, and we have been getting some rain here overnight. We had some storms come in here last night, pretty bad, but we missed most of the worst of it. So last week I did not video any, just trying to get caught up back on the videos. So I didn't do anything, but it was mostly wet all week until the weekend, and then I was able to haul some manure out of the barn, and so we did that, and then did a few other miscellaneous things, but nothing major. So this week looks like it's going to be raining and wet again, so we're gonna have plenty of time to get our projects done, hopefully get the planter done, go through all that. Dad's working on the spray trailer or the fertilizer tender trailer right now, and he's plumbing this up to make it into 3-inch rather than 2-inch, so we can pump a little bit faster, fill the planter up a little bit faster, and everything like that. So that's something he's working on right now. So right now I gotta wait around here for a little bit, so I'm gonna continue washing our seed meters. So I've got these all taken apart. These are off of the corn planter, so I've got these all taken apart. I blow them off with the compressed air, and then we'll put all the pieces that can get wet, we'll put them down here in the water, soak them, brush them off, make sure all of it's clean. So this is after I've already taken the air to it. You can see we get all the seed treatment built up in here, inside of all these pieces here. So we want to make sure we get that all cleaned up. That way we don't have any problems. So especially looking at these brushes, just like to inspect everything, make sure everything's working in proper order and everything. So you can see we get a lot of stuff gets built up here, and so we'll clean off these seals. This is where we seal against the seed disc here, so make sure that's all good. And then I also like to take and spray these seed discs with graphite spray, so I can show you what I actually used right here. So this is what I've got. I like to use this spray on these, and it helps just to extend the life of these a little bit longer. So I do that every year. These are our seed plates where the seed gets vacuumed up onto each one of these little notches, and then that's what actually meters the seed out for the planter. Okay, so I got everything laid out here on the table. These are ready to go in the water, so filling up the water still. But so basically this whole piece, now that I've got it all disassembled, it can go down here in the water. Then this is the only piece that cannot go in the water, because this is the electric motor that turns every one of these seed meters. So these cannot go in the water because these are very expensive, and probably not very good to have water in the electric motor. This, on the other hand, can go in, so we'll toss that in. And then this little clear plastic window, that can go. The little whatever you call this thing goes inside the meter. That can go. This can also go in. This is where the motor actually attaches to, so that attaches right here. I just take those 4 little screws out, then we can toss this in. And then last thing is the seed disc here. I'll toss this down in there. All right, so I've got these little brushes. I don't know where I even got these at, probably Amazon, something like that. So basically I just go through, take this, scrub everything. Can't do it because I need 2 hands, but I got this bucket of soapy water here, so I dip this in there. That way we got some soap, and then we can just scrub down everything inside here. And then that's basically what we do with everything. It's pretty boring. Usually I can only do a couple at a time, and then I'm ready to go do something else. So I'm on row 15, and we got 24 of them. So we're getting there, over halfway, but we got a little ways to go. We're getting our gauge wheels back on and the gauge wheel arms. So what we got new was these gauge wheel arms, which are right here. You can see these are a little bit different than our John Deere ones. So these are a Coyote brand, and so they have bearings in here. Right here they got bearings, and then they've got these little wear clips here, and then they just mount on just like the John Deere's do, other than we just use spacers in here. So we got little shims put in here to shim it up against the disc. So we got those going. If I could find a John Deere, I could show you how those work, but anyways, I was waiting on those to come in. They came in the other day, so I've got about half of the planter done with those. It just takes some time putting those shims in and getting it shimmed up right with the disc. It takes a little bit of time because I got to take it off, put it back on, and it's just trial and error back and forth. So that's basically what we've been working on today. Cody's tractor here, he's got it hooked up to the DB60 here, so he's got this thing all ready to go, I think. And then I changed the fuel filter for him because he did not have it last night whenever he was here, so we changed the fuel filters on that tractor. And so we just got to assemble the rest of these little gauge wheels here, and then we'll be done. So going pretty good. I didn't expect to get as much done as I did, but a few of those rows, once I got out in the middle, they got pretty easy. A lot of them were the same across there, but some of them are different, the way we have to shim them, just because of the wear on the gauge wheels. So anyways, I'll show you more of that whenever I get back down here. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get down here and work on this a little bit more. I'd like to get this all finished up because I got a little bit of work that I got to do on the tractor. So we'll get that done as soon as we get finished up with the planter. It's Wednesday now. Yesterday we moved the rest of the 8 heifers, 8 or 10 heifers out of this barn up here, out of the big calving barn, and we gave them their 1 vaccination and a dewormer, and we put them out in another lot out at the other farm, where the ones that haven't had calves yet that are late, they'll have them out there, they'll be okay. There's a couple of them that are not going to have calves, so we wanted to get this barn cleaned out. So right now I've got the manure spreader, and I've got all of the extra hay that was in the bale rings inside the barn. So I'm up here on top of the hill in the pasture right now. I'm going to go over here where Papa's bulldozing at, and then I'm going to pick a little place and try to spread this all out of the spreader, and then they will probably eat a lot of it. All right, basically got it all spread out. Really didn't really amount to much. I got a pretty good pile behind me, but that stuff was all fluffed up. So anyways, this is where Papa's bulldozing that up here, leveling that off and getting it to drain down this way. So he's working on that whenever he has time, but I think we've about got it all emptied out. So shut that off, shut our gate down, slow this all down here, shut it off, and we got a little bit more hay left to go load up, and then we've got some manure, and I think I'll just take it up here and spread it on this because this is going to need some good topsoil on it. He's got a little bit piled up, but we're going to have some more to get some grass growing here. We've got our load of manure now. Not a whole bunch, but anyways, we'll go up here and spread it out. Okay, I decided to take a load out here onto the field. So this is where I spread everything at last week, here on some corn stalks, and so I'm going pretty fast. I'm trying to keep it pretty light here, so that way we don't have any trouble when we come in here and plant, especially with the amount of straw that's in this manure. You can kind of see it down there on the ground, but you can't. It got about a half inch or an inch of rain on it, so you can't hardly tell. It's kind of settled down. So that was kind of the goal, was not to be able to have a big mat of manure on there for planting. So I didn't know if it'd be dry enough. Dad's spreading down there at the main farm, which it's a little bit different ground there because he's got cover crop wheat on there, so that's probably holding him up a little bit better. But overall, this isn't too bad. So we've got some pretty nasty storms. Look like they're going to be coming in here tonight. So trying to get this barn cleaned out. I should have one more load and then I'll have the major stuff out of this barn. We only got about 2 cows left in there. One that's about to have a calf and one that has a calf but prolapsed the other day, and we got her fixed up. So she's hanging out there in the barn for a little while. So other than that, that barn is empty and ready to have equipment put into it. We get geared down here to turn around. Shut off the chain so we can turn around and not spread. And we'll kick it back on and throttle it up a little bit going up the hill. Grab a couple gears here. This thing does pretty good with this spreader. There you go, you can see where we're spreading here, just trying to keep it pretty light. Okay, we've got our barn cleaned out and we've got our equipment in that we wanted to get in. We've got the corral folded up. Got it put in here, airway 8235. It was parked down at the farm. We had to wash it off because it was parked in the down there at the grain leg, and it got bird crap all over it, so we washed it off. Got the one Blue Cat semi in here, one of the sprayers, and then we got the Manitou skid loader 4840 and the pick right spreader. They're talking hail, so we're gonna just pull this dump truck in, just save it from busting a window out or something. So that's about every. Well, we got the mixer wagon, and the roller is over there on the other side. We got another fertilizer tender over there, other lean-to, so getting her packed full. We did not back up to the back of this barn because that is the west side, so if any storm comes in, it does come in from the west side, so didn't want to take a risk of anything hitting the back of this hopper bottom. So I guess he's letting that air up, pull that in here, and then that's probably going to be it for today. Okay, well, it's Friday and it has been raining and storming, and it got pretty bad there on, I think it was Wednesday night. So we've got a lot of rain, probably 3-4 inches maybe, and I'll turn this around and show you our wheat field. So the field goes all the way down to those trees, and so this is all field here where it's underwater. It's definitely been up higher, but right here at the barn. So looks like we're going to be getting more rain all the way through tomorrow and Sunday, so it's not going to be going down anytime soon, I don't think. So our other field down that way in the bottom, it's got some water in it, but it's not nearly as bad as this one is. We are down here working on planter now today because it's pouring down rain outside, and this is a good job to do while it's pouring down rain. So we've got this many gauge wheels left to put on, so hopefully we're going to get this all tackled and done. Trevor's putting in seed tubes right now over there on the other side, and we're going to try to get most of the work knocked out on this thing. I know that I just found a hydraulic leak back here, and so we're gonna have to address that, but I'm gonna have to get it unfolded a little bit to get to that. So we've got this line right here, I think is leaking. I think it's dripping down on this one, but I think it's leaking because I've got puddle here. So that's our next project, but we got to get this done so we can kind of wing this out a little bit so we can get on the other side of the frame, because that hose goes in there somewhere. Okay, so these are our gauge wheel arms. I'll show you how we put these on here. So it's called Coyote. That's the brand where we bought them at. So here they are. You can see here we've got our bearing in here. So I've just got the same bolt. I put 3 of the washers that they send with it. They send a whole bag of washers. and then I put 2 of them on the inside because that seems to be the right amount for what I need on most of the gauge wheels. Now, they also send some of these other shims. We can use these. They've got 2 different sizes of other ones that they sent. Then we got the big bag. So I've got this one ready to go on here, so I can show you putting this on here, and then hopefully it lines up right. If not, take it back off, put a different shim in, put it back on, try it until we get it right. So I'm looking at the contact here between the disc and the gauge wheel. This is a rubber material, so it rubs against here. But this one is a little bit tight. It kind of hesitates to fall down. So this one's a little bit tight. So I'm going to take it off and probably get one of the small shims and put in here. This one works pretty good. It spins a little bit more freely and it falls right down. So I think I'll put a small shim in this one. Most of the time I end up dropping those. Put our small little shim in there. That works about perfect, right? Just like that, falls right down, spins real easy, but it's also spinning right against that disc, so we're not going to get any kind of dirt or debris getting in between the seat disc and the gauge wheel, because that will end up causing some plugging and issues, trash getting into the seat trench, everything like that. So we just have these 4 rows, and then we've got 1 row on the other side yet to do. Okay, I've just got to go through and take this ratchet and go through, tighten up all of the gauge wheel bolts that I just put in with that little impact. I want to make sure they're all good and tight. So, but first I got to fix my ratchet because for some reason it is like loose and it's not wanting to work. I guess I got to tighten up these little screws here. Okay, so I narrowed down this hydraulic leak here. So I know it's either one of these two hoses right here, but it just goes right here to this valve block. There's a big valve block right inside of here. Probably can't see being so dark, but it's only about maybe a 3 or 4 foot hose going there. So I'm gonna have somebody watch me next time I'm here, and it's actually at the up down, it goes to the up down cylinders for these main wheels here. So I'll have somebody watch that and make sure it's the one that I'm thinking it is, so that way we don't replace the wrong line. So we finished greasing these tractors. Other than the U-joints, I'm gonna have to have somebody help me with that. Trevor did some of it, but he had to go. So now we've got one grease fitting that is broken right here on this 8430. So we're gonna get that replaced, and hopefully, I don't know if it's threads are actually broken inside there or what, but that's all we got for today. Gonna get back home right now, so we will be back another day to kind of wrap up some of these projects. The only thing left on the planter that's kind of major is the electrical issue that I've had. I don't really know what the deal is, because I can't get it to do it now that I'm trying to figure it out. I can't get it to have a bad connection while I'm looking for it. So it's working so far, but I'm afraid that once I get out in the field, I'm gonna start having problems with it, and then I'm gonna have to start tracing it down. And once I get in the field, I don't want to have to deal with that. So I'll do some more looking into it another day. I just don't really know where to look at, because I went through, shook all the wires, wiggled all the connections, and watched the light inside the cab, and it does not flicker. So usually it does flicker, and it'll cause the planter to not be able to fold or unfold or do anything with the fold box. So I'm also curious if it is in the fold box inside the cab. So that's going to be a whole project for another day, but we're going to go head home for right now. Okay, it's Saturday morning. Papaw's in the straw over here. We're putting some straw in this barn here. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit wet in here. We've had 7 inches of rain so far, and so the moisture just gets in here and just makes it a mess. So he's gonna blow some fresh bedding in here, probably gonna do all the barns. And then later on today, we gotta work some calves. On another note, the creek has went down out of the field here, so you can kind of tell where it is down there. It went out of the field last night, even though it rained all night. So I don't know, I would expect that it's going to come back up here soon, but we'll see what it does. But that's good, it came down, so it's at least not going to be flooded consistently for a week. Watch this week's video. Please like and subscribe down below, leave me a comment, and we'll see you next week.